Discover the miraculous journey of Genesis, from Adam to Joseph, a divine transformation unveiled. In the 3rd year of Jehoiakim, the world was a quiet expanse, the heavens above and the earth below united in harmonious rhythm. Here, water pooled beneath the vibrant sun, reflecting a realm untouched by time, a place we now call Eden. In this sacred garden, God's intimate handiwork thrived, with lush trees bearing fruit in abundance, rivers coursing through its heart, and every living thing delighted in His presence. Awakening in this oasis, the first man, Adam, opened his eyes to the marvels of creation. The air was rich with fragrant blossoms, and golden rays illuminated everything with their soft glow. Adam moved between the trees, unashamed in his nakedness, tending to the earth. He communed with God in ways beyond imagination, engaging with the Creator in a perfect fellowship, unmarred by sin or shame. Yet there lingered a weight in the ethereal air, a quiet anticipation of the test to come. After days of observing Adam's solitude, God knew it was not good for him to remain alone. With divine wisdom, He decided to craft a partner from Adam's very side, Eve, a companion for the unfolding journey ahead. Together, they roamed the garden, their laughter mingled with the songs of birds, delighting in the gifts bestowed upon them. Trees laden with beautiful fruit, waters brimming with life, and the warmth of direct communion with their Creator. But lurking among the shadows was the serpent, the craftiest of creatures. With cunning words, he whispered deceit to Eve, enticing her with promises of enlightenment. "Surely you will not die," he taunted, dangling the fruit of knowledge before her. Captivated and consumed by his temptation, Eve took the fruit and shared it with Adam. The moment they tasted, the fragile veil of innocence shattered. Where there had once been light and joy, the chill of darkness now crept into their hearts. They hid among the trees, fear gripping them, as they stitched together fig leaves, attempting to obscure their shame from the gaze of God. As the heavens echoed with silence, God called out, seeking them. Thus, the perfect creation was eternally marked by the stain of disobedience, introducing toil, struggle, and separation from the divine presence they once enjoyed. Before we continue with this incredible biblical account, I want to make sure you don't miss any of these powerful scripture stories. Click the bell icon and select all notifications. These biblical narratives have transformed countless lives throughout history. If God's word through this story is blessing you, please like and share with someone who needs to hear about God's faithfulness today. Tell me in the comments which biblical story has most impacted your faith journey. I'm always amazed how God's word speaks to hearts across generations. Now let's continue with what the Lord did next. As we venture forward from this pivotal moment in Eden, we see God's unwavering commitment to humanity unfurling through the generations. A divine promise resounded. When God called Abraham, asking him to leave behind all that was familiar. "Go forth from your country," He commanded, "and I will make you into a great nation." With unwavering faith ignited within him, Abraham obediently ventured into the unknown, trusting in the promise of covenant blessings. The narrative of faith winds through valleys of trials and mountains of joy, where Isaac is born from Sarah's laughter and Jacob, the supplanter, wrestles fiercely with the angel until dawn breaks. His name transformed to Israel, he embodies the struggle and the divine promise. The lineage tracks onward, culminating in a favored son, Joseph, elegant in a coat of many colors. Envy takes root, leading to betrayal. Cast into a pit by his brothers, he descends into despair. Yet even during hardship and servitude in Egypt, Joseph clings to the dreams bestowed upon him by God, emboldened by faith amid the darkness. Here, standing on the precipice of history, we sense a tension brewing. Will Joseph's steadfast faith guide him through his trials? The mystery of God's sovereign plan resonates, drawing us deeper into the unfolding narrative of redemption that awaits. And it came to pass, as Joseph lay in the stillness of the pit, the echoes of his brother's cruel laughter fading into the distance, he found himself enveloped in solitude and darkness. With his heart heavy, he lifted his voice in prayer, imploring the Lord, "O God, do not forsake me in my time of despair. Your promises I hold dear, but where now is my purpose?" Days turned to weeks, and the sun passed by as Joseph remained in the shadow of despair. But lo, in the midst of that desolation, divine providence was at work, unseen but potent. The Ishmaelites, traders from afar, journeyed toward Egypt laden with goods and the weight of foreign riches. And as they passed by, they heard a voice rising from the pit, a tender lament that pierced their hearts. Negotiations ensued, and Joseph was drawn from his dark prison, his coat of many colors now torn and tattered, stripped of its vibrancy. Yet his spirit, resilient and steadfast, bore the mark of something greater. He knew, in time, he must cling to hope and faith. "Behold, a slave," the traders proclaimed, as they offered silver in exchange for Joseph's freedom from the pit. Little did they know they held in their hands the thread of a larger destiny woven by the divine hand. Bound and transported to Egypt, Joseph could not see how this venture away from his homeland would lead him into the heart of God's sovereign plan. Upon arrival, the bustling market of Egypt enveloped him, the clang of metal, the cries of merchants, and the aroma of spices swirling through the air. Joseph was sold into the household of Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, a captain of the guard. In the foreign land, the teachings of his father, Jacob, echoed in his heart. "Joseph, do not forget the Lord your God. He is with those who are faithful." As time passed, the favor of the Lord rested upon Joseph. He served well, exhibiting wisdom and grace in all he did. And Potiphar noticed him. "Surely I have found a servant of remarkable spirit," he said to his household. "Let him oversee all that I possess." Yet darkness lurked, for Potiphar's wife, captivated by Joseph's strength and beauty, sought to ensnare him with temptation. Day by day she persisted, but Joseph remained resolute. "How can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" he exclaimed, his eyes lifted toward the heavens. But one fateful day, when no one was present, she seized him and demanded, "Lie with me." But Joseph fled from the scene, leaving behind his garment, a symbol of the innocence and integrity that she would choose to betray. Wrongly accused and cast into the prison of the king's guard, despair threatened to engulf him once again. In the darkness of the prison, Joseph continued to trust in God's faithfulness. "Though my circumstances are dire, I am not abandoned." Thus he comforted himself with the dreams he once had, the providential whispers that told him he was destined for something far greater. And there, within the dampness of stone walls, God's purpose began to unfold. For the cupbearer and the baker, imprisoned alongside him, spoke of dreams which troubled their hearts. Joseph, with spiritual insight bestowed upon him, declared, "Tell me your dreams, for God will provide the interpretation." As the stories emerged, he spoke words of life, granting hope where despair loomed. Yet, amidst this growing rapport, the years moved on with silence, the unfolding of divine purpose still obscured. But the Lord's plan was moving ever closer to fruition, and moments of revelation were on the horizon. Would Joseph remain steadfast, and how would God's sovereign hand guide him from the depths of despair to glory? For even now, a stir in Pharaoh's heart was about to usher in a new chapter, one that would not only alter the course of Joseph's life, but the destiny of nations. The hour of deliverance was nearing. The truth of God's tremendous story was yet to be fully revealed. And it came to pass, when Joseph was in prison, the hand of the Lord was upon him still. Deep within the darkness, Joseph chose to cling to hope, for he knew that the God of his fathers had not forsaken him. He was in the midst of preparing a far greater purpose. And it happened that the cupbearer and the baker of Pharaoh offended their lord, the king of Egypt. In their moment of despair, they were cast into the same prison where Joseph languished. And as the days turned into nights, Joseph attended to their needs, ever watchful and faithful, reflecting the character of his Lord. One morning, Joseph approached them and saw that they were troubled. "Why do you look so sad today?" he asked, his heart moved with compassion. And they replied, "We have each dreamed a dream, and there is no one to interpret it." Then Joseph, emboldened by the Spirit of God, said, "Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me your dreams." And they recounted their visions, how the cupbearer saw a vine with 3 branches that budded and bore ripe grapes, and how he pressed the grapes into Pharaoh's cup. The baker spoke of his dream as well, of 3 baskets on his head, filled with baked goods, and how birds came to eat from the top basket. And Joseph listened intently, seeking divine wisdom. He turned to the cupbearer, declaring, "This is the interpretation. The 3 branches are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to your office, and you shall place Pharaoh's cup in his hand as you did before." But to the baker he spoke with a heavy heart. "The 3 baskets are 3 days as well. Yet within 3 days Pharaoh will lift off your head from you and hang you upon a tree, and the birds shall eat your flesh from off you." As the days unfolded, Joseph's words came to pass. The cupbearer was restored, but the baker was executed. And as the cupbearer returned to his place beside Pharaoh, he forgot the promise he had made to Joseph, to remember him. In the stillness that followed, Joseph languished in prison, awaiting to be remembered. Days turned to years, and the weight of time bore heavily upon his spirit. "O Lord," he cried in his heart, "how long must I endure this trial? Yet I shall remain steadfast, for I trust in your perfect timing." But lo, in the courts of Pharaoh, a great calamity arose. Pharaoh had dreamed a dream that troubled his heart, and none could interpret it. 7 thin cattle devoured 7 fat cattle, and 7 ears of grain, healthy and good, were swallowed by 7 thin, blighted ears. Thus anxiety raged within Pharaoh, and the cupbearer was stricken with remembrance. "Today I remember my faults," he said to Pharaoh. "There is a man in prison, a Hebrew youth, who interpreted my dream. He, having been found true in his words, may he interpret for you." Then Pharaoh summoned Joseph, hastily bringing him from the depths of his prison cell. And when Joseph stood before the mighty king, he humbly said, "It is not in me. God will give Pharaoh an answer of peace." As Pharaoh recounted his dreams, Joseph, filled with divine wisdom, presented the truth, that there would come 7 years of plenty throughout Egypt, followed by 7 years of famine that would consume the land. "Now therefore, let Pharaoh seek out a discerning and wise man, and set him over the land of Egypt," Joseph urged. Thus was the providential plan of God racing toward its fulfillment, as Joseph's integrity and faithfulness began to emerge from the shadows. Yet, unbeknownst to all, the greater purpose loomed just beyond the horizon, waiting to intertwine Joseph's destiny with the nations of the earth. The time had come for God's promise to unfold, a revelation of His sovereignty that would turn the bitterness of the past into a tapestry of salvation. Would Joseph rise from the ashes of despair to become a vessel of hope and life, not only for Egypt, but for the world beyond? The wheels of providence were set in motion. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Inasmuch as God has shown you all this, there is no one as discerning and wise as you. You shall be over my house, and all my people shall be ruled according to your word. Only in regard to the throne will I be greater than you." And Joseph was appointed, adorned in garments of fine linen, and a gold chain set about his neck. He rode in the second chariot of Pharaoh, and they cried out before him, "Bow the knee." Thus he set him over all the land of Egypt, and Pharaoh gave him the name Zaphnath-Paneah, and he took as a wife Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On. In the years of abundance, Joseph gathered all the food of those 7 years which were in the land of Egypt, and stored it up in the cities. The corn was as the sand of the sea, very much, until he ceased counting it, for it was immeasurable. Then the years of famine commenced, as Joseph had foretold, and the cry of hunger rang out across the land. And it came to pass that when the famine was strong in the land, the people cried out to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said to them, "Go to Joseph, whatever he says to you, do." And the famine was severe in all lands, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread, for Joseph's wisdom had prepared for this very moment. When Jacob learned that there was grain in Egypt, he said to his sons, "Why do you look at one another? I have heard that there is grain in Egypt. Go down there and buy for us, that we may live and not die." Thus the 10 brothers of Joseph journeyed down to Egypt, drawn by desperation and hunger. They knew not that the one who stood before them was their brother, whom they had sold into slavery. And when Joseph saw his brothers, he recognized them, but he acted as a stranger, speaking harshly to them, and asked them whence they had come. "From the land of Canaan we come to buy food," they responded, unaware of the truth behind this encounter. Joseph, remembering the dreams he had dreamed of them, spoke to them of their past transgressions. "You are spies. You have come to see the nakedness of the land," he declared. And they replied, "No, my lord, but we are your servants. We have come to buy food. We are one man's sons. We are honest men. Your servants are not spies." But Joseph pressed them, longing for the day when the truth would be fully revealed. "From which place do you come?" he asked, and they admitted their father had a younger son. This awareness stirred in Joseph's heart both a longing and a pang of sorrow. He incarcerated them for 3 days, and after that he brought them out, saying, "If you are honest men, let one of your brothers be confined to your prison. But you go and carry grain for your hungry households, and bring your youngest brother to me, so that your words may be tested." Through it all, Joseph's heart was torn. This was the test of faith. How would they treat this brother? It was only through the anguish of remembrance and the shadow of forgiveness that the plan of God would begin to unveil itself. For in their coming to Egypt without understanding, God was orchestrating a reunion that would save not only a family, but forge a legacy that echoed through generations. The stage was being set. The salvation of many would hinge upon these next sacred moments. Could it be that this was all part of a divine tapestry being woven by the hand of God? The promise of deliverance drew near, yet the greater revelation awaited just beyond the horizon. And the brothers of Joseph returned to their father Jacob in the land of Canaan, and they told him all that had befallen them. "The man who is lord of the land spoke harshly to us, and he took us for spies. But we said to him, 'We are honest men. We are not spies, but one of our brothers is confined in Egypt, and we must bring our youngest brother to prove our integrity.'" Through it all, Joseph's heart was torn. This was the test of faith. How would they treat this brother? It was only through the anguish of remembrance and the shadow of forgiveness that the plan of God would begin to unveil itself. For in their coming to Egypt, without understanding, God was orchestrating a reunion that would save not only a family, but forge a legacy that echoed through generations. The stage was being set. The salvation of many would hinge upon these next sacred moments. Could it be that this was all part of a divine tapestry being woven by the hand of God? The promise of deliverance drew near, yet the greater revelation awaited just beyond the horizon. And the brothers of Joseph returned to their father Jacob in the land of Canaan, and they told him all that had befallen them. "The man who is lord of the land spoke harshly to us, and he took us for spies. But we said to him, 'We are honest men. We are not spies, but one of our brothers is confined in Egypt, and we must bring our youngest brother to prove our integrity.' As they opened their sacks, behold, each man's bundle of money was in his sack.
and when they and their father saw the money, they were afraid. Jacob said, "You have bereaved me of my children. Joseph is no more, and Simeon is taken, and now you would take Benjamin? All these things are against me." His heart consumed with sorrow, for he mourned the loss of his beloved sons. Reuben spoke to his father, saying, "Kill my 2 sons if I do not bring him back to you. Entrust him to my care, and I will bring him back." But Jacob refused, saying, "My son shall not go down with you. His brother is dead, and he alone is left. If harm should happen to him on the journey, you would bring my gray hairs down to Sheol in sorrow." But the famine was severe in the land, and the grain they had bought was consumed. Their sustenance was nearly gone, and they could not stay in the place where they were. Jacob said to his sons, "Go back, buy us a little food." Judah spoke to him, "The man solemnly warned us, saying, 'You shall not see my face unless
your brother is with you. If you send our brother with us, we will go down and buy food. But if you will not send him, we will not go.' And Jacob replied, 'Why did you treat me so badly to tell the man you had another brother?' They answered, 'The man asked us pointedly about our family, saying, "Is your father still alive? Do you have another brother?" We answered him according to these words. Could we possibly have known that he would say, "Bring your brother down"?' Then Israel said, 'If it must be so, then do this. Take some of the best produce of the land in your sacks, and carry down a present for the man, a little balm and a little honey, spices and myrrh, pistachios and almonds. Take double the money in your hand, and take back the money that was returned in the mouth of your sacks. Perhaps it was an oversight.' So the sons of Jacob did as he commanded. They took Benjamin with them and made their way back to Egypt, trembling under the weight of their sins and the fear that this second encounter would bring forth more judgment. When they came before Joseph, he saw Benjamin with them, and his heart yearned for his brother. He quickly ordered his steward to take them to his house to prepare a feast. The brothers were afraid and said, "It is because of the money returned in our sacks that we are brought in, so that he may assault us and seize us as slaves." But the steward replied, "Fear not. Your God and the God of your father has put treasure in your sacks for you. I had your money." And they found peace in this declaration. As they dined with Joseph, he could not contain the emotion within him, and he withdrew to weep. Afterward, he returned to them, a mask of authority upon his face, yet raw with familial love. And Joseph took portions from his table to give to them, but Benjamin's portion was 5 times what any of theirs was. And they drank and were merry with him, their hearts slowly stitching back together the wounds of the past. But as the evening waned, the divine plan was not yet fully unveiled. For while God was dealing with hearts, hidden truths remained tangled in the fabric of their lives, and the stage was yet being set for a revelation that would mark the dawn of redemption. What was the reason behind their journey and Joseph's tests, and how would the course of their lives intertwine with the sovereign hand of God that guided them all? And it came to pass, as the meal ended and their hearts were warmed by the kindness shown unto them, that Joseph commanded the steward of his house, saying, "Fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in the mouth of his sack." And the steward did as Joseph commanded. As morning dawned, the brothers loaded their donkeys with the grain and departed. But as they were leaving the city, one of them looked in his sack and saw his money at the mouth of the sack. He turned to his brothers, saying, "My money has been put back. Behold, it is in my sack." And they were terrified, saying one to another, "What is this that God has done to us?" When they returned to Jacob their father in the land of Canaan, they told him all that they had encountered. They declared how the man who was lord of the land had treated them, how he had questioned them about their family, and how they had shown him the lad, Benjamin. And they recounted the strange occurrence of their money being found in their sacks. Jacob's heart sank deeper into despair, for he lamented, "You have bereaved me of my children. Joseph is no more, and Simeon is taken, and now you would take Benjamin? All these things are against me." Reuben spoke out in frustration, "Father, let us not lose hope.
I will bring Benjamin back to you. If I do not, let my own sons be put to death." But Jacob's heart was resolute. "My son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he alone is left. If any harm should happen to him on the journey you take, my gray hairs would go down to Sheol in sorrow." As days stretched on and the famine pressed ever harder, the despair of Jacob grew as the provisions diminished. And Judah came near to his father, urging him, "Send the lad with me. We will arise and go, that we may live and not die, we and you and also our little ones. For I will be surety for him, of my hand shall you require him. If I bring him not unto you, and set him before you, then let me bear the blame forever." Upon hearing this, Jacob was overwhelmed yet practical. He knew that to live they must risk. Thus he replied, "If it must be so, do this. Take of the best fruits of the land in your vessels, and carry down a present for the man, a little balm and a little honey, spices and myrrh, nuts and almonds. And take double the money in your hand, for it may be that it was an oversight." So, with heavy hearts but resolved spirits, they prepared for their journey. They arose and went down to Egypt, bringing Benjamin with them, and they stood before Joseph. When he saw Benjamin, his love stirred again within him, and he said to his steward, "Take these men to my house, and make ready a feast." As they entered the house, filled with anxiety and fear of judgment, they were met instead with graciousness. Joseph came in to them, and as he beheld Benjamin,
then he turned aside to weep, for the reunion touched his soul deeply. In this moment of providential mercy, the truth remained hidden, yet the hand of God moved silently, orchestrating events none could foresee. As Joseph set a challenge before them, the divine plan began to sharpen in its focus. Would these brothers stand united, or would their past treacheries be the ruin of them? And thus the question loomed, unanswered and heavy. Would they repent, or would their hearts still remain hardened? As they prepared to face Joseph's test, a greater truth beckoned just beyond the horizon. The hand of God weaving a beautiful tapestry of redemption among them, yet remaining shrouded in divine mystery. And it came to pass, as Joseph entered his house, that he saw Benjamin seated amid his brothers, and his heart surged with tenderness. He approached them, and in the presence of the feast that was set before them, he issued a command that astounded them. "Serve the men, for they shall eat with me today." The steward conducted the serving, and as he began to distribute the food, Joseph observed the brothers, noting their faces, their mannerisms, the very essence of their spirits. The table was laden with abundance, and as the brothers sat in astonishment, they expressed their gratitude, though unease settled upon them, filling the space with an unsettled tension. Joseph seized the moment, intending to unveil the hearts of his brethren. They were positioned according to their birthright, from the eldest to the youngest, and the brothers marveled, whispering among themselves, "How can this be?" They did not yet perceive that it was the hand of God at work in their lives, moving them unseen toward a greater revelation. When Benjamin was served 5 times more than any of the others, the brothers could hardly grasp the significance of this act. Even so, they ate and drank freely with him, partaking of Providence's bounty, and their burdened hearts for a moment found respite. In the midst of their revelry, Joseph's heart was torn. He ached to reveal himself, but remained silent, considering their past. As the banquet concluded, he directed the steward once more, saying, "Fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put each man's money in the mouth of his sack, and my silver cup, the one I drink from, in the sack of the youngest." As the steward obeyed, Joseph's intentions became tinged with a divine test. Unknown to the brothers, they were being drawn into a web of God's intricate design. For that very cup was a symbol of authority and judgment, a vessel furnished with secrets only to be revealed at the appointed time. And when the morning light broke, the brothers set forth on their journey back to Canaan, unaware of the trap that awaited them. But soon, as they were leaving the city, the steward pursued them, his voice echoing across the dusty road. "Why have you repaid evil for good? The Lord of the land's cup is missing." Panic descended upon them as they searched their sacks, each brother fervently exclaiming their innocence. But alas, when Benjamin's sack was opened, the silver cup gleamed menacingly in the sunlight, and their hearts sank like lead, dragging along with them their guilt and shame. They tore their garments and returned with heavy steps, their minds racing with fear and despair. "What are we to do? What shall become of us?" they wailed, knowing their only chance lay in the hands of the very man who had once been their enemy. In Joseph's presence, they bowed before him, their faces etched with anguish. Judah stepped forward, pleading with all his strength, connecting his heart to the life of his father and the reproach that would fall upon him should Benjamin be lost. "Let me be your servant. Let the lad go. I cannot bear to see our father grieve again." As these words wafted into the air, Joseph was overtaken by the weight of struggle within him, his heart yearning for reconciliation. The truth trembled on the edge of his lips, yet he held it close, testing the depths of their transformation and fidelity. For it was then, in that moment of high tension, that the divine plan loomed ever closer. God's purpose to show mercy, to bridge the chasm of betrayal, and to lead them toward redemption was drawing near. What would be the outcome of their hearts? Would they emerge transformed, or would they succumb to fear once more? In the silence that followed, the answer awaited, cradled in the unknown, ready to deliver a divine revelation of God's everlasting grace. And Joseph, seeing Judah's heartfelt plea, was deeply moved. His heart was heavy with compassion, for he recalled the pit into which they had cast him. His brothers' jealousy and betrayal stained their past. A moment of silence enveloped the chamber, thick with anticipation and the weight of unspoken truths. "Is this how it must be?" Joseph pondered, filled with the anguish of unknowing. In the depths of his heart, he desired not only justice but redemption. He stepped forward, his voice trembling yet strong. "I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt." A shockwave coursed through the room as the brothers recoiled in disbelief. Fear gripped their hearts, and dread consumed their thoughts. "How can this be?" they thought. "Shall he seek revenge for our deeds?" But Joseph continued, his eyes glistening with tears of compassion. "Do not be distressed. Do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, for God sent me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years the famine has been in the land, and there are yet 5 years in which there will be neither plowing nor harvest. God sent me before you to establish a remnant on earth and to keep alive for you many survivors." As Joseph recounted the providence of God, the walls of fear began to crumble. The brothers' hearts stirred, and they faced the truth of their past. They could see how the hand of God had guided their paths. Even in darkness, He had orchestrated every detail for His redemptive purposes. Emotions surged within them. Confession, sorrow, and the blossoming hope of forgiveness knitted their hearts anew. "Truly, we have sinned," they whispered to one another, "and now we stand before Him, our sin laid bare." Joseph stepped closer, embracing each brother one by one, allowing the tears of both anguish and joy to flow freely. "Do not be afraid. I will provide for you and your little ones. You shall dwell in the land of Goshen, for you are my blood, my kin." Joy erupted in the night, echoing through the chambers as they wept together in recognition of the awe-inspiring works of God. They began to feel the warmth of familial ties rekindled. What was once broken was being restored right before their eyes. Meanwhile, the news of Joseph's reconciliation spread, and soon Pharaoh himself called for the brothers to bring their father. "Tell him of all my glory and of all that you have seen," Joseph instructed them. "Let him see the wonders that God has wrought in my life." As they departed, laden with gifts, the promise of reunion flared brightly in their hearts. Upon their return, they found Jacob seated, worn and weary. Their hearts trembled to bring him such news, but as they reached him, they proclaimed, "Joseph is alive! He is ruler over all the land of Egypt!" As the words sank into Jacob's ears, life surged back into him. The resolve of a father pierced through grief, and he declared, "It is enough. My son Joseph is still alive." Nevertheless, God's sovereign plan was not yet fulfilled, for there lingered a greater purpose yet to come, a nation in the making, a covenant to be fulfilled. How wondrous were his works! In the shadows of despair, he delivered grace anew. The path ahead would see trials, but also the promise of blessings beyond measure, leading toward a land flowing with milk and honey. And even now, as they packed their bundles, the divine tapestry was weaving itself through their lives, drawing them back into the light of God's purpose. For it was destined that not only would they become a great nation, but through them the blessings to all mankind would be revealed. What marvels awaited them in the land of Goshen? Would they recognize the fullness of God's plan unfolding before them? The story of their transformation was just beginning, anchored in the sovereign will of the Almighty. And Jacob arose, with a heart fluttering between joy and disbelief. His limbs, once heavy with despair, felt lighter as he gathered the family. The brothers, with fervent anticipation flickering in their eyes, surrounded him, sharing the account of their brother's trials and triumphs, the mighty hand of God that had lifted Joseph from the pit and brought him to power in Egypt. "Is it true?" Jacob exclaimed, quivering as he held their faces in his hands. "Can my son truly be alive?" Thus they spoke to him, revealing all that Joseph had commanded and the wondrous gifts he had bestowed. The wind of hope began to fill the air, and their words took root in the old man's heart. But his spirit, frail though it was, needed assurance. As he traversed through memories of grief, his heart ached and soared all at once. The brothers encouraged him still. "He is the governor of all Egypt. Come, let us go and see the face of our beloved Joseph." Then Israel, whose heart had revived, made preparations. He offered sacrifices to the God of his father Isaac, seeking divine favor for the journey. With gifts for Pharaoh and their family, they set forth, leaving the land of Canaan gripped by both fear and anticipation of what awaited them in Egypt. Meanwhile, God spoke to Jacob in a night vision, saying, "Jacob, Jacob." And he replied, "Here I am." The Lord said, "Fear not to go down to Egypt, for I will make of you a great nation there. I will go down with you to Egypt, and I will also surely bring you up again. And Joseph shall put his hand upon your eyes." Awakening from the dream, Jacob rose with renewed strength. God was with him. So he journeyed forth with his sons, his family burgeoning with the bonds of a rekindled lineage. As they entered Egypt, Joseph harnessed his authority to prepare a great reception. He donned his finest garments, and his heart raced with eager anticipation. The chariots rolled, and the dust of the ground stirred around them as they approached. Then Joseph, having spotted their arrival from afar, could no longer control the torrent of emotions swelling within. He wept, tears pouring forth as he embraced the memory of his father, the love that had nourished his soul through adversity. Commanded for the moment, he dashed forth, his heart leading him to Jacob. When he laid his eyes upon his father, the years of separation melted. "My father, can it truly be?" he cried.
And Jacob, with tear-streaked cheeks, looked into the face of his son. "Now let me die, since I have seen your face and know that you are alive." The embrace that ensued held the weight of countless trials and the grace of an unbroken bond. The news of this reunion reached the land of Egypt, and Pharaoh rejoiced over the family of the man who had saved the nation. "Bid them to dwell in the land of Goshen," he decreed, for he honored Joseph, the man whose wisdom saved many. Thus they entered the land of Goshen, welcomed by abundance. Like stars descending into darkness, the family multiplied and flourished, and Jacob saw the fulfillment of God's promise weaving through the narrative of their lives. But even as they settled, a darker shadow lay ahead. For, unbeknownst to them, the hearts of the Egyptians would turn, and a new king would arise who knew not Joseph. What future awaited the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in a land of both bounty and bondage? Would the covenant promises of God sustain them through trials yet unseen? In the woven tapestry of their lives, the mighty hand of the Almighty was still at work, leading them toward an exodus that would echo through the ages. And it came to pass that many years flowed forth from the days when Jacob and his sons settled in the land of Goshen, and the people of Israel multiplied exceedingly, becoming a great nation as promised. Amid the bounty of Egypt they thrived, their families growing large like the stars in the night sky. Yet dark clouds gathered on the horizon as a new Pharaoh arose who knew not Joseph, and with hardness of heart he dealt treacherously with the children of Israel. The cries of the oppressed rose before the Lord, a lament echoing through the heavens. "O Lord, do you see our plight? We are burdened and cast down." Thus they called out in anguish, and God hearkened to their cries. "I have seen the affliction of my people," the voice of the Lord whispered to Moses, chosen from among the Hebrews, marked not just for deliverance, but as a reflection of God's unwavering covenant. In the desert wilderness, God appointed Moses to lead his people from bondage to freedom. A burning bush lit the night, showing forth divine purpose, and Moses stood barefoot on holy ground, trembling yet resolute as he heard the sacred charge. "Go, for I will send you unto Pharaoh. Bring forth my people that they may serve me." So Moses returned to Egypt, a vessel of hope and deliverance, facing Pharaoh with words of power. "Let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness." But the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, denying the cries of Israel, and thus the hand of the Lord moved in might. Through signs and wonders, the 10 plagues fell upon the land of Egypt, each a testament to God's sovereignty over the false gods of Pharaoh and his people. The rivers turned to blood, frogs covered the land, locusts devoured crops, and darkness cloaked the sky. Yet still, Pharaoh's heart remained unmoved. Then came the final, dire warning, the death of the firstborn. God instructed Moses to take a lamb without blemish, to slay it and mark the doorposts with its blood, a sign of redemption and protection. "When I see the blood, I will pass over you," he declared, salvation through sacrifice woven through the lineage of promise. As the death angel swept through the land of Egypt, fear gripped the hearts of the people, yet the children of Israel were spared, preserved by the sanctifying blood of the Lamb. In that night, Pharaoh let them go, and the Israelites departed, carrying not only their families, but the remnants of hope and promise. "Remember this day," Moses commanded, setting forth instituted remembrance, a feast to honor the great deliverance. With unleavened bread, they would celebrate not only their physical escape, but the spiritual rebirth, the covenant being fulfilled before their very eyes. The Red Sea stood before them as an impassable barrier, and Pharaoh's chariots thundered behind them, a pursuit of despair. And they cried out in fear, Why have you brought us here to die in the wilderness? Would it not have been better to serve in Egypt?" Yet Moses stood firm, the staff of God brandished in his hand. "Do not be afraid. Stand firm and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show you today." With faith ignited in his heart, he raised his rod, and the waters parted like a mighty wave, creating a dry path through the sea, a miraculous passage of salvation. The Israelites crossed over, their feet firmly planted on the path God had carved out for them. With every step taken, their bondage was buried beneath the waves as Pharaoh and his army pursued, only to find the waters consuming them in a final act of divine justice. "The Lord is my strength and my song. He has become my salvation," sang Moses and the people, lifting their voices in triumphant worship. In the wilderness, God guided them through clouds by day and fire by night, revealing his presence and glory. He gave them his law at Sinai, writing it upon tablets of stone, thus building a covenant people dedicated to holiness. In their journey to the Promised Land, God provided manna from heaven and quail from the skies, sustaining them in every needful hour. Yet, despite their miraculous journey and divine provision, the hearts of many faltered, longing for the comforts of Egypt, forgetting the very power that had redeemed them. But through trials and tribulations, the heart of God remained steadfast. He spoke of a coming Messiah, through whom all nations would be blessed, a promise whispering through the ages. The shadow of the cross loomed on the horizon, foretelling the ultimate deliverance for all who would believe, a holy lamb, perfect and sinless, who would take away the sins of the world. Thus, the children of Israel, once a family torn apart, now rose up as a nation, reflecting God's covenant faithfulness. The powerful narrative of their exodus continued to echo through history, a reminder of God's enduring love and sovereign will. And as the sun set over the unswerving path, they embraced their identity as God's chosen people. The story was not only about the escape from Egypt, it was the revelation of God's holiness, justice, mercy, and love, poured out on all who followed him. As we conclude this incredible journey, may we recognize that the same God who delivered Israel from bondage stands ready to redeem our lives today. He is faithful in his promises, guiding us
to freedom and grace, and leading us toward the ultimate promised land, abridged by Christ himself. If this story of redemption resonates within your spirit, you need to subscribe now to stay connected to God's Word and not miss the powerful truths revealed in the Scriptures. Leave a like now to help spread God's message through the algorithm. Comment below your reflections and how this biblical narrative has impacted your faith. And don't wait even one more second to share this powerful testimony with at least 5 friends who need to hear God's truth. Join us in this sacred mission to light the path for many souls, for in our unity lies the strength of faith shared.